What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bigfoot Report. I am your host, Wayne, and I'm super excited to be with you all this evening. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Looks like a lot of our regulars are with us. Chris Blaylock, how are you, ma'am? Stormy, always a pleasure. Troy, what's up, buddy? Ristel, the Nana boss is hanging out with us tonight, so that is super cool. Y'all heard me laugh because it never fails. It never fails that Scarlett has to use the bathroom when I'm doing this, and now I'm alone. So, what am I gonna do? I don't know. I will figure it out. We will get to it. All right, Alex, what is up, buddy? Others, Erica, how are you doing, ma'am? I knew I saw you in here. Yeah, others will be filtering in and out throughout the show. So, yeah, happy everyone can come and hang out tonight, and gonna have a good show. I got one of my favorite people on the planet backstage, Miss Mary Ann. She is gonna come on, and we're gonna talk about the Ozark Bigfoot, mainly the conference, what she's got coming up, and just some of her other experiences. So yeah, should be a good time. Before we get to her though, guys, real quick, do that YouTube stuff. If you are new, please do us a solid, hit that subscribe button. Help us grow the show. Tell your mom and them, all of that stuff. Our memberships are open. Become a channel member for $1.99. Want to invite everyone to take advantage of that. Get in on some of the members only stuff, the Discord, members only shows, things like that. We'd love to have you consider doing that. And lastly, the Venmo option in the Cash App. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time asking about that. You guys know how that works. We ask you to do that other than because we don't get hit with the fees and we get it right away instead of having to wait a month for it. So if you guys are willing to help us out that way, we would greatly appreciate it. All right, everybody, as I was saying, got a lovely lady backstage that I'm excited to bring out. So I'm going to go ahead and get to her. Marianne, what's up, ma'am? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, sir?
Doing very well. Very well. And before we get into it, I want to warn everybody, I don't know if you can tell from outside, it's been raining all day. So I'm hoping that won't interfere with the reception or the coverage, the service or whatever. Maybe we can get through it without any issues, hopefully. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing phenomenal. And hey to everybody in the chat, my brothers and sisters from other mothers, it's good to see everybody. It's not been that long that we were all together, and it won't be that long till we're all together again. So
that's right.
Yeah,
we just hung out at the Smoky Mountain Conference, and you are going to be speaking at my event at the end of this month.
Yes, I am.
Let
Yes,
me
I
find
am.
you. Come
Oh,
on,
that's a
there.
good hair day there.
Yeah, I've been talking a lot to Chris over the last few days, making final preparations and getting everything lined up. Chris has been on with getting everything set up for the Squatch Out this year. Can't thank her enough for everything that she's doing. She's been great. But yeah, looking forward to that. How long of a drive is it going to be for you, Marianne?
4.5, 5 hours. So not bad. Not bad.
Is it
You know,
closer? That's a little bit closer than the Smokies, right?
oh Lord, yeah. Smokies was a 9 hour drive.
Oh
So
shit!
yeah, yeah. And we had to sit in Nashville for an hour because of the cleanup of the wreck. But yeah, it's only like 4.5, 5 hours, something like that. So it's not bad at all. We can leave the house at 7 in the morning and be there in the early afternoon. So
Now, have you ever been to the LBO?
I have not. I have not. I've heard
Have
lots of
you?
things.
I was going to ask, have you ever heard anything about the LBO? And if so, what have you heard?
Oh Lord, I've heard all kinds of shit about that place. I mean, I've heard, Bigfoot stories, dogman stories, just creepy, everything. So I'm kind of excited because, I don't know what exactly to expect, you
Well,
know.
I mean, we're all just wasting our time because we all know there's nothing in the LBO.
Right,
There's
right.
no cryptids.
It's just a piece of land, right?
Yeah, it's a peninsula. There's no way
Uh,
anything could walk,
right.
on land to get there. No,
Oh,
it's
and
not possible.
and heaven forbid, maybe it can swim across. I mean,
No, I
you
mean
know,
that'd blow people's mind. No, we can't talk
right?
about that. There's too many people that visit the LBL every year for there to be any kind of cryptid creature out there.
Well, they're the
I,
experts, not us.
I love stupid people. If you're around stupid people, you're gonna laugh. You know? Don't you
Or,
love stupid people?
or bang your head against the wall, one or the other. I'm not sure.
Or both.
Yep.
Yeah, this would be my third trip to the LBL, and God, I hope we have better weather.
Yeah, you guys have not had the best weather down there. I'm not really sure. I might be signing up for something. You guys might be a bad weather magnet.
Everywhere else I go, we tend to have pretty good luck, but it's just
Yeah.
something about the LBO. Troy and I went, I think it was 2 years ago, Troy's birthday. We went, just he and I, and camped out for a couple of days, and it rained for 23 straight hours, and that's not an
Oh, geez.
exaggeration. It started at midnight one night, and it rained nonstop until 11 p.m. the next day. It was terrible, and we were in mud. We were in grass and mud and dirt and everything. So, oh my God, we were soggy sons of bitches.
So, what time of the year was that when you did that?
January,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was still cold too.
Hmm.
Pretty sure it's January. Troy, your birthday's in January, right? He'll let us know.
Okay.
And then, and then last time was just it wasn't that long ago at all, a couple months ago, and we had that bad storm came through and almost killed one of your speakers.
Well, we're so glad that David survived that.
Yeah, I mean we laugh, but we laugh
At the
now.
time, you were not laughing, right?
We were
Exactly.
not laughing at the time because that looked
Yeah.
really really bad.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
Well, this time, I mean, August, yeah, I mean, there can be storms anytime, but usually August, it's not, August for September, it's not quite as bad, not as likely. So.
yeah, yeah. All right, guys. I want to remind everyone if you have any questions for Marianne tonight, please do me a solid and put those in all caps so that I can get to them. But we're mainly here, Marianne, to talk about your conference that you have coming up. Tell
Yes.
everybody a little bit about what they can expect this year and when, where, and just who's going to be there.
Okay. Not a problem. We can do that. So we've changed it up a little bit this year. We're having a VIP night. This is the first year for that. And it is going to be at the Elks Lodge here in Ozark. And we are catering a dinner. We're going to be having a smoked, smoked chicken, smoked pork, you name it, we've got it, right? I think we're going to have some ribs too. And we're going to, after dinner's over, we are going to have a taping of a podcast. What we're going to do is, as everybody comes in for the dinner, we're going to give them a note card and they get to write a question on it, right? And then we're going to have the speakers pull those questions out and they have to answer whatever it is in real time, and we can kind of have a conversation about things like that, get it recorded, have some fun doing that. That gives them all a little bit of extra time with you guys that are going to be speaking. And then Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. is the conference. And it is at the Relics Event Center in Springfield. And that's going to go till around 4:30. And so we've got D.A. Roberts, and he is a local writer and researcher here in Missouri. We've got Shane Carpenter, who is also local for us, and he is a researcher here. He's got the documentary Into the 400 on, what is it on? Amazon and Prime. So. Yeah, I think it's on there. And we've got David Zagan, and he's down, in your neck of the woods. Yep. He's the forensic investigator, and I'm super excited to learn all the things he's going to be teaching us. So then, of course, yourself, you will be speaking. You'll be up there entertaining us. So, we're excited about that. And then, of course, this year we've got RPG who's going to be emceeing, and also he's going to speak that day too. So it should be very interesting. And then myself and Larry Newman, we're going to do a little promo for the BFRO during all that time too. So it's going to be a full day. You're going to learn lots of things. We invite everybody to come out. Now, those tickets for those two events, you can get those on Eventbrite. And there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can do the VIP night by itself, if that's the only thing you can come to. And there is a limited number of those because the place that we're having it is not very big. And then the day of the conference tickets, those are on Eventbrite. Or there's also a package deal where you can get the VIP night and the event ticket. So there's 3 different tickets on Eventbrite. And then, so what we're going to do, like we've always done, is as soon as we're done with the conference, we're going to jump in the trucks and take off to the boonies to camp out. So,
and that's where the real magic happens, people.
It definitely does. It definitely does. We will be leaving straight from the conference and going out to private property. And we are going to be out there Saturday night through Wednesday morning. And that we've had activity every time we've been out there. We've had something every time we're out there. The homeowner has activity. Sometimes it's just little things, but sometimes that's all it takes is that little stuff. But so it's primitive camping. We do have porta potties. We do have running water. There is no electricity whatsoever. So when you're out there, we're going to feed you two meals a day. You're going to get a big breakfast and you're going to get dinner at night. And we tell everybody, bring your coffee cup. We provide the coffee. If you need snacks, bring your snacks, Now, those tickets, the only way that you can get those tickets are to come onto the Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference page on Facebook. And you have to privately message me because those tickets are also, we don't do very many of those. And I think right now I have 10 spots left for that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm about out of those. So if there's anybody out there at all that thinks they're going to want to go, they better get on it because we're down to about 10 spots left.
Awesome.
So, Yeah, that's nice. There's plenty of tickets left for the day of conference. I'm going to have to check on how many's left for the VIP event, but yeah, I definitely know that we're down to about 10 spots for out there.
Okay,
And what's
remind everyone about the date. What was the dates, Marianne?
Okay, so the dates for this are October the 3rd is the VIP night. October the 4th is the conference, and we're leaving from the conference. So on the 4th through the 8th is the camp out. And now, when we're out there camping out, we're going to do some things. So, the speakers are, you're going to be able to have one on one time with them. You're also, like David has agreed to do some more teaching out there, casting, forensics, collections. He's agreed to do a lot of that. Sometimes one of our cook ladies, Martha, she will do cooking in Dutch ovens. She has little things of demonstrations of those that she does. Then Brian, which we didn't talk about, Brian's not speaking at the conference, but he is speaking at the camp out. He's going to be reading some from his new book, Coda's Odyssey. And out there, he's going to be talking about the sightings that he had in Washington. So, there's a lot more. If you do the whole complete thing, you just get so much more than if you just come day of conference. But if you can only do day of conference, then by all means come to the conference. But
yeah, and speaking of Brian, real quick, I do want to offer him well wishes. What happened with Brian this past weekend, had to be taken in for emergency surgery in Pennsylvania. Last I talked to him, he's doing well. He might even be home by now. I haven't heard from him today, but
he was supposed to head home yesterday, I believe.
Okay, so I think he might be home today by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, hang in there, buddy. The crazy thing is, he was scheduled to have it fixed today. Today he was supposed to have had the surgery, and he made it.
It just wasn't fast enough, was it?
He got to Pennsylvania and was getting ready to speak and everything, and they said, "No, buddy, we're going to go ahead and do this now." So, but yeah, get well, buddy. Can't wait to hang out with you again. Always have fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We always have fun, and you have to bring the yellow overalls. That's just a requested part of it now.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and put those in the car.
Yep, just have those ready to go.
One of these days I'll get a picture because everybody asks me about that.
Oh my God, there'll be a picture this year. I can't believe that nobody got a picture of that.
I can't believe y'all are just so fascinated with my overalls.
We've all threatened to buy our own and be standing out there waiting for you to come out of the tent.
You should. You should. Is it just the fact that they're yellow?
I think that's part of it. Part of it. Yeah.
You know me.
I think it's because they're yellow. Well, it's just not the typical color, I mean, it isn't. When you come walking out in those yellow overalls, it was like, holy shit. Okay.
You know me. I got to make a statement everywhere I go.
Right. I understand. Yeah. You just caught us off guard. We were not prepared for that morning.
But yeah, it was, I said it so many times, we talk about it so often, that one of the most fun times I had was at that event last year, and just some of the coolest people that I got to meet, and it was just fun. It was great to get out away from everybody. You don't have service, so you're not bothered by your phone blowing up every 2 minutes. You're not far from driving out if you need to, make a phone call, check on your family or anything like that. You're not far away from getting service, but
you have to drive out to get it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. About 10 minutes or so, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just want to unplug and go out and hang out with just like-minded, good people and talk about Bigfoot and other stupid stuff, it's a great time for it. And I think that your event is very reasonably priced. And I mean, obviously, because you sell out just about every year, right?
Yeah, the camp out usually is right at capacity, because like I said, we try not to take too many people out there. First of all, to be respectful of the landowner, but I don't want to take 50 or 60 people out there. I've been on Bigfoot outings that had that many, and it's ridiculous. It's just not. You can't go out and do anything with that many people. And if we take less people, there's always a few that, they just want to stay in camp, and that's fine. We've got some things planned this year, climbing those hills. Marty and I climbed them last year. And we're sitting up there like bait that we were after everybody walked away and left us. And it was funny. We're sitting on the ground and we're talking, and she's like, "What do we do if something runs in at us?" I said, "There's not a damn thing we can do. We can't get up fast enough to get away from it." And she's like, "Okay, we're just going to sit here." And that's when Shane had the thermal, and he was getting a heat signature in the trees that was somewhere about 5.5 feet tall. And he was getting like a head and shoulders that was moving around up there. And that's the same evening that we'd been growled at. Part of the group had been growled at as they were going up the hill. So we have no idea what it was, but it's always something out there.
Now that you bring that up, Marianne, remind for anyone that's watching tonight that isn't familiar with like past expeditions that you put on, talk about, because you said you've had stuff happen every year. Talk about some of the more memorable things that have happened, even if it wasn't last year, the year before. But what stands out to you that happened on that property?
Well, the very first year that we camped out there, we did it a little bit different. We were constantly trying something different to get the exact right formula for this property. But we'd been out there a few days and found out that, so there's a gentleman that he lives on the property, and then the gentleman's son and daughter-in-law live there also. And they're very off grid, they're living off the land type of thing. And they come along and tell us, after we've already been there 2 or 3 days, that a couple of days ago, there was a flat of eggs stolen off the porch. And it's one of those that you have to have, you've got to have hands to pick this up and carry it, or it's going to flop and fall, right? So there was 2 flats of them, and 1 flat was stolen. Now, there wasn't any mess. There were no broken eggs, nothing torn up. It's just that flat's completely gone, right? So it shows up. They come in and tell us the 3rd day, it shows up the road in the neighbor's yard with 1 complete row of eggs still in it, not broken, not touched.
Now, how do you explain that? And that goes, I've heard from multiple people, interviewing people over the years like I have, how they will talk about, believe Bigfoot will come in and not take everything, not completely wipe you out of everything. They'll take just something and leave the rest of it. So you said there was 2 flats.
It was 2 flats. Yeah. 1 was left and 1 was taken.
If you're going to steal it, why not grab both?
Right. And if it was bears or coons or possums, they would have ate it right there, made a mess, and made a mess of both of them. Right. So, it ends up in the neighbor's yard, and the neighbor's like, "Oh, the dog." It's like, dude, really? No.
No, it wasn't the dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we move on, Gary Goonie Goo Goo just sent me this, and it's not a great picture, but I'll throw it up there.
you get a little bit of the gist there.
Yeah, it's not a great picture, but they're just yellow. Calm down, people. I bet. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So that was one of the things that had happened. So the last night of that very first year, we had the cook tent was out more in the middle of the field. It is, instead of being off to the side. And we had this little storm came rolling in out of nowhere, right? It destroys the cook tent. And the cook ladies were camped out there by it. They had to abandon theirs and get in the truck. It was just ridiculous. For about 30 minutes, all hell broke loose. Everybody's holding their tents down, it was just craziness, right? So it stopped. Everybody's like, okay, we're good. Everybody kind of calms down. Everybody gets back into their tents and goes to bed after this.
Hmm.
So, next to our tent, there was a lady parked her vehicle. And then on the other side, um, Nona, Marty was in there with her. And gosh, Krista, I think was the other girl's name. But anyway, so they're like paranormal researchers. They're not even Bigfoot researchers. So Brandy, who was in the vehicle, she decided to sleep in there because she thought her bed was wet. And she wakes up in the middle of the night. She keeps hearing this, like, she said it sounded like metal going tink, 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 tink. And so she wakes up and she's hearing this and she can't figure out what it is. And she's in the front seat and she said she's got her blanket like pulled up to her nose, that kind of stuff. And she says she gets to looking over toward our tent, and right behind our tent, she can see this figure standing. And she can see its head and shoulders. And she's probably 10 to 12 feet from it. And she said it's right behind our tent, right? And so she's watching it and she's like, I didn't know if I should get my phone out, take a picture. She's like, I didn't know what I should do. So she said, I was scared to death. So what does she do? She pulls the blanket over her head and goes to sleep.
Smart
And
thing.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. But so I was asleep at that point. I was exhausted. So the next morning I'm getting up and everybody's kind of running around and there was a buzz in the camp, right? And so finally I'm like, okay, what is going on? And she's telling me that. And we basically, Marty and I had to almost hogtie Daniel Perez to keep him out of the weeds because we could see compressions, right? We're like, you're not going in there. And we got Shane up and Shane was laughing. We've talked about this later. He goes, I was going to kill you because I knew there was nothing out there. I just knew you all were full of it, right? So we get him up and we tell him what's going on and he starts walking around. He was able to track that thing all the way around the perimeter of the camp, all the way around it. It had walked all the way around it. It had went in between the porta potties, through the tents along the creek, up behind the tents that were up on the hill a little bit, and actually came in through somebody else's tent and rummaged around because they had their tent and then they had a canopy. Well, it was under the canopy rummaging around. So yeah, it was just made itself at home after the storm, and it was like, I don't know, 3:30 in the morning when this started. And luckily the people that were there had enough. They either looked at their phone or their watch and everybody could give us a time of when it happened. And we talked to all of them individually first. So nobody would have known what time was a correct time, right?
Yeah.
All the times synced up with it moving around our camp. So,
You talk about the lady that pulled the blanket over her head and everything, and I've talked about it. I mean, it's a little different what I've experienced, but I've talked about it a few times, and I actually asked Doug Hychek about it one time when I was on his show. It's happened to me more than a couple of times where I'll be out on expedition, asleep in my tent, sleeping good, and something wake me up in the middle of the night, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And, what's the whole reason I'm there? What's the only reason I'm there? To find Bigfoot,
right,
to look for Bigfoot. But I cannot make myself get up to go and see what the hell woke me up. It's not fear. I'm not afraid. It's like, it's the strangest thing. It's like,
yeah.
I don't have the power or the ability to just make myself get up and look and see what it was.
Well, that's like, I've been out on this property multiple times. And last year, that first night, I wake up, I got to go to the bathroom. Well, you know how far I put the porta potties down at the end, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get up and I'm like, I don't know that I can walk that far, right? Okay, I'm going to just hop out here behind the tent. No big deal, right?
Nope.
And I mean, our tent backs right up to the creek. I'm not sure how smart that is. I mean, there's a fence there, right? But still, first time I get up, go to the bathroom, no big deal. I'm good, right? I'm good. Get back in, go back to bed. Way up in the morning, I wake up again. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Really? Really? And I'm laying there trying to will it away. And that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't really need to do this. No, I don't need to do this. No, I don't need to do this. Yeah, well, yeah, I needed to do it. So I get up, same thing. But when I step out of the tent, oh my God, it was such a completely different feeling. And I'm like, oh crap. And so Robert always puts down a tarp and puts our tent on top of it, right? So this time I barely got off the tarp on the side of it because I was not going behind it for nothing. I mean, I was like barely off of it. And the truck's right there, so I'm like, okay, I got the truck here. I got a little bit of, I got a little bit, right? And so I am in the process of what I need to be doing. And oh my God, there's this commotion on the other side of the truck. Let me tell you what, if I wasn't already in the process of using the bathroom, I would
Yep.
have, right?
Yeah. That one would have
Well,
turned into a two real quick.
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, right? So I am like, okay, I'm done. That's it, getting back in. About the time I get to the door of the tent, I realize it's my cook ladies like snoring, turning over, and farting or something. But let me tell you what, I wasn't staying out there with my pants down to find out what that was.
Exactly. You did not
Because
know
that's my
that at
biggest
the time.
fear. Yeah, that's my
Oh,
biggest fear
yeah.
is getting caught out there peeing, right? It is.
Literally caught with your pants down.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
so but yeah, just the change in the way the area felt, you know, it was like there was something there. Now, was it right there? Probably not, but it was there because there was a whole difference. Because that first time that I got out to go to the bathroom, I stood there for a minute and went, I'm going to walk down the bathroom or am I going to go here? I wasn't having any of that. The second time I got out, oh no, it was like, oh, you're barely getting off the tarp, girl. That's as far as you are going.
Isn't that so crazy though? That's happened to me so many times. You'll get out there and you're completely fine. You walk to the truck, no flashlight, and get
Right.
what you need, come back. And other times, it takes all of your courage just to step out of the tent.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't.
It makes no sense because, yeah, there are times that we're walking through the woods without a light, you know? Um, and so, yeah, it's like, I don't have a problem walking through the woods. I mean, I was raised a country girl. I'm not scared of the woods. But then there are times when it's like, I can't explain, but I am just like, oh my God, there is something here and I don't know what it is, and I don't know that I want to know what it is. I mean, I do, but I don't. So, but yeah,
Yeah. All right. Let's switch gears just a little bit. Go back to the Squatch Out that we got coming up because it's sooner. It's going to be here sooner than yours because we're just a couple weeks away from it, actually.
right, right,
Um, I don't know if you and I have ever talked about this. I'm sure we have, with as much as we talk. This has come up, but I don't remember. And I want you to talk to everyone else about your feelings about Dogman, because where we're going, the stories are pretty heavy in that area for Dogman stories. What do you feel about the whole phenomenon?
well, and I know this is, will probably irritate some people, but I don't believe it. I'm sorry. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Bigfoot is biologically possible. Dogman's not. I'm sorry, a man's body, dog's feet, dog's head. I mean, is that a wild science project gone extremely wrong? I mean, you know, I I understand that a lot of people have seen things. I think what's going on, and this is just my personal opinion, I think it's misidentification of a Bigfoot. I do believe that they can have different features, you know, and there was a study done on humans a few years ago that when we are in a high stress situation, we are so unreliable about being able to tell you distance, height, color. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like 85% of the time we're wrong. So if you're in the woods and you've had an encounter with something, your adrenaline is through the roof and you're scared to death, and it's like, I mean, Bigfoot's bad enough, but, you know, and that's just what I think, you know, and Dogman, I hate that name. I hate that name. I would much rather people call it a werewolf or, you know, something along those lines, because that's actually, there is a legend, that comes over from, Europe about that. And, what they say about legends, there's always some little bit of truth in there.
Yeah.
But, and I mean, I know people will get so mad, so upset. Oh, they're real. They're real.
You are
And
going to upset some people, I can tell you, because every time I say, and I believe just like you do, Marianne, and I can't help it. I can't help but the way I feel. But someone will always get upset. I mean, people that one in particular that comes to mind that I care about, that I really like, and she's not happy that I feel that way, and
right.
I can't. Why can't we be misidentifying them? What would
We
be
could
wrong with
be.
that?
And it's like, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. They really and truly are. I mean, just because I don't believe in Dogman doesn't mean somebody else can. It's just, my brain works from a very logical point of view. That's like, I can't go in here and start saying, well, Bigfoot does this and Bigfoot does that, and this is this and this is that. I believe Bigfoot is flesh and blood. Are there things that maybe they are capable of doing that we can't? I can't say they're not, but honestly, I don't believe, that they do all the things that people put to them, especially, and this will make people mad too, the portal thing, right? It's so easy to go, well, they walk through a portal. Okay, you can't prove any of that. Can't prove any of it. They can say, well, they've walked through a portal. Well, you can't prove it.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure if science has proven that I believe science has said that the likelihood of portals is out there, right? But nobody knows how to control them. And it's like, so to me, this is an easy way to explain everything. Oh, they went through a portal. That's why their tracks disappeared. Oh, they went through a portal because you can't see them now. They went through the portal and disappeared. They
And
went through.
same way with them being aliens or from a spaceship. That's
Yeah,
just another easy way to explain it away. You can't explain one mystery with another mystery.
no, you can't. So, I look at it like this. Okay, so these things, we are essentially walking into their home. So if I was to come into your home at night, Wayne, I'm going to bump and bang into everything because I don't know where it's at.
And you're gonna get
But you
shot.
can, right? And you can get up and walk through that house with not a light on and not ever bang into anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
let's put that in the woods. They know where everything's at. They can move through there so quietly. And I hate to tell y'all, but us humans, we're not the most observant. You know, we have gotten so into technology that we can't go out into the woods and just observe because we get bored and we got to have that stupid phone out in front of our face, you
Yeah.
know, and that dulls your senses. And it's like if you're just out there paying attention to the woods, you're going to see a lot more. If you're sitting there with your nose in the phone, you're oblivious, you know. But I think these things are flesh and blood, they're real. You know, I think they're the masters of their domain. They can move almost silently. And I think sometimes they just freaking stop and freeze, you
Yeah.
know, because our eyes are trained to look for movement. Well, as soon as that thing stops and doesn't move anymore, you've lost it. You know,
No,
you've
you're
lost. So, you know, I know there are people out there that want to talk about, you know, all the woo and all these things like this and attribute all that to them. I think there could be some, you know, because we all consist of energy, and maybe they can control theirs and they vibrate at a different level. And sometimes maybe that is out of the spectrum of what our eyes can see. You know, I mean,
yeah.
and but that
Yeah, and
that's
I agree with you. I agree with so much that you said, Marianne, especially like you can explain Bigfoot being a creature, an ape, which is what most of us think they are, is like a type of primate,
mhm,
or a lot of us think that. I shouldn't say most, but you can't really explain that with Dogman. I mean, there's never been any confirmed dogs that walked.
no,
You know, and when you think about Dogman, to me, I go one of two ways. If Dogman exists, and like you, I hate that name. It makes us look so stupid or sound so childish and stupid. Wish we had a
yeah,
better name for them. But if they exist, it's either a damn military science experiment that went wrong, military thing, like some kind of special weapon that they created, something like that. Or I've always like leaned toward Native American, like
a
Skinwalker,
skinwalker,
or something just demonic, like Robert
yeah.
said on here, something evil that was created by something evil. You know, that's what I lean toward, because you hear stories about Bigfoot being positive and saving a kid or helping people get out of the woods. You hear stories like that. Have you ever heard anything good from a dog man?
No, I really
I
haven't. I
haven't.
mean, out of the things I've heard, and the same thing with skinwalkers, you don't hear anything positive about them, you know?
Yeah, so
So, I mean, yeah, it
I
could
don't know.
I think you're right. I mean, there's I don't know, you know, it's one of those things that, like I said, I do not believe it's biological, you know? It's either some science experiment's gone greatly wrong. Um, I heard I listened to this guy one time. It's one of the guys that does Into the Shadows podcast, and he was talking about, and he's a well-to-do individual, right? So it would not do him any good to come and tell his story. It might actually hurt him financially, right? And he talked about being in high school, and he ran track, and he had lived out in the country, and he had a certain part that he would run, you know, and had an encounter with one of these. But now he described it as something that was looked like the Egyptian god Anubis.
Anubis, yeah. I've heard that encounter that you're talking about, Marianne. It was compelling.
Yeah, right. And it's like, okay. And when I hear it like that, that makes me think more alien. You know, it's something from somewhere else. Because, I mean, I believe in aliens. I mean, it would be arrogant for us as humans to believe that we're the only intelligent race anywhere, you know? I
Absolutely.
mean, so,
Uh,
you know,
just like it's so arrogant of us to think that we know everything that's out there.
right.
We don't
We
know
don't
everything
have a
that's out there.
clue. Exactly. We don't have a clue. I mean, science is discovering new stuff every day. So, you know, if we're going to sit here and go, "Oh, we know what all these things are," it's like, yeah, we don't. We don't.
an 8, 9 foot tall, 1,000 pound, hair covered monster living in North America, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That we should have found that by now. So I can understand everything, behind that. But it's so arrogant to think that we know everything that's out there.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It, it's
Um, let me ask your opinion, Marianne. What's it going to take to prove that Bigfoot is real?
Well, unfortunately, a body. I mean, that at this point, that's what it's going to take because AI has gotten so ridiculous that you can't, depend on a photo anymore. Right.
Yeah. Why are we even still trying to get photos?
Yeah. And that's why, too, when I was talking about the energy and how they vibrate, it's like maybe that's part of the reason we don't ever get a good picture is because they're so distorted sometimes, especially like when they're trying to elude us, you know, and it's like when we're trying to take the pictures and that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know because when you start talking about these things, then you get 10 more questions to the one you just asked, you know?
Exactly.
It,
Exactly.
it's a never ending rabbit hole of, what it could be, but I think we have to have a body. I will not be the one that brings that body in. If I find a body, I might bring a part of it in, but I'm not going to be the one to put the body down. And keeping the government out of it once we get a body.
That might
You
be
know,
your biggest issue right there.
it probably would be. Probably
So
would be.
Brian and I have talked about on that Bigfoot podcast. We did a whole episode on it and like trying to develop the proper protocol amongst everyone in the Bigfoot community. What do we do if what you just explained, if that happens? Say we find a dead infant baby Bigfoot in the woods, something we can pick up and carry, and you got the whole body. What do we do? Who do we call? Who do you feel comfortable calling?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. Because you call the
You-
one wrong person. It's like you put that thing on dry ice and you haul its ass to Darby in North Carolina at the university.
Yeah, but
You
even
know,
then, I mean,
yeah,
who's
I
to
don't
say
know.
the wrong person isn't gonna find out? I talked to someone one time, and they said you call the news channel right away, and you get the news out there, and you put that thing on live right then, and that way it's out there. But
Yeah,
even if you do that, who's to say people don't come back and they completely discredit you? It was a hoax. This person lied. He was a liar. He's a known hoaxer, and just completely ruin your life.
yeah, yeah. That's the other thing too. So it's like it's a catch 22. If you found something like that, it's like, yeah, do you go live with it or do you just stick it in the freezer and hold on to it?
Because I think pretty much everyone that follows this subject seriously would agree that they know the government knows that they're real.
Oh yeah, yeah. They know, they know, and it's like I don't know if they just don't feel like it's important enough, or people are like, well, they'd shut the national forest down. Look how many of us know they're out there, and we still go and look for them.
Oh yeah, yeah. It
You
has
know,
nothing to do. It has nothing to do with shutting down the recreation industry because you know what, people, there are grizzly bears out there. There are every year. We still go in the woods.
hmm
I mean, you might even get more activity. You might even do more business recreationally if you announce that there's a Bigfoot. So I don't buy that for a single second.
no,
The
I don't either.
whole shutting down the timber industry of the lumber.
Yeah. That's another one too. It's like they're all over. So how could you shut down everything? Every national park, every bit of conservation land. How do you do that? You can't. So maybe that's part of the reason that they don't acknowledge them is because they can't shut everything down. You know,
I've heard,
they can't
yeah,
control
I've
all of
heard
it.
exactly, and I've heard other arguments that what if they know that these things are a percentage of human? They are part human. What do we do at that point? Are we talking about civil rights that we have to give them? And that could be a stupid question, but I mean, if the whole Melba Ketchum thing is right, and the mitochondrial DNA is female, and we don't know what the father is, that's half human
Mm-hmm.
right
Mm-hmm.
there. How do we put humans in zoos?
Well,
I
there's
don't, I don't
probably
know.
some that should be, but
I don't know. It's fun to talk about, but we're never ever going to have the answers. I think we all know that.
not like we want. That's what it's come down to. I've seen them. I know they're real. We've had things happen more times than not. There have been times when we absolutely have just thrown a dart at a map and said, we're going there, and found them. So you can't tell me that these things are few and far between. They're not. It's part of the reason that we haven't found them is there's really and truly, if you go out and you look at all your researchers, right? How many weekends a year are those people out? And they have to be out on the right weekend when those things are in their area, because I don't believe that they're stationary. Now, I don't believe that they migrate from north to south either. Let's say maybe they have 100 square mile range. Well, if they're in the far corner of it this month and you're in the opposite corner, you're not going to find anything because they haven't been there for a while, right? you know and so it's like the odds of you being
And
able to have something concrete are astronomical. you know when those
yeah,
things happen, it's just the planets are aligning at that moment.
I think that you are right. All right, we are over 50 minutes, and it doesn't seem like that's possible. But we do have a few questions, so let's go ahead and jump in there. First off, not a question, but Goonie Goo Goo hit us for that $1.99. Thank you, buddy. You are amazing as always. T Roy, wasn't the flat of eggs 24 eggs by 24 eggs?
Something like that.
Or
It's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, it you have to basically use two hands to carry it.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. So it's basically 2 dozen.
Yeah, because it's like cardboard on the bottom and plastic wrap, on the top type.
Okay. And Abnormal Investigations asks, what are your thoughts on the being Nephilim? That's a loaded question right there.
Well, I am not the person to answer that, but I say no. I don't like to bring religion into anything of the cryptids because it's crossing lines there that, first of all, we don't understand a lot of the stuff in the Bible well enough to compare it, you know, and everybody's got a different interpretation of the Bible. So for me, that's just a big no no, really and truly it
You know,
is.
and Marianne, I made that exact comment on an episode of that Bigfoot podcast one time. And the following week, I got an email where I got all but cussed out by a Christian who said
Mm-hmm.
I was doing this huge disservice to all of the Christians out there by having my personal opinion that we need to just keep them separate. So my
Well, and
opinion is
it's
doing this huge disservice, but
yeah, and it's like, and that's part of what's wrong with society right now. Nobody can have an opinion; it offends everybody. And it's like,
exactly,
guess what? Your opinion is yours. Just because my opinion is they're not Nephilim doesn't mean that everybody else has to have that same opinion.
they
I
absolutely could be Nephilim.
It could be. It could be. I just don't think it is. That's another one of those things that we don't know enough about. And you can say, well, Nephilim was this and this and this, so this is why they can do this. Okay, maybe they can, but I don't. I just don't like mixing religion into that. Religion is a personal, private thing for every person, and it should not be brought into the Bigfoot cryptid community.
I agree. Others do not.
I
All
understand
right.
that.
T. Roy, this is more of a comment. I don't believe Dog Man has a human body.
Well, it
Thing I've heard
from
pretty much do.
well, yeah. I mean, the descriptions I've heard is it's like a human body. It doesn't have that dog, because well, and my dog's laying right here. Their ribs come down. They're not pointed, but they're not flat like ours. So I just,
Yeah.
I
All right. Moving on. Our last question is from Chris Blaylock, and I'm going to be honest, it's probably one of the better questions we've had in a really long time, and I think that it needs to be talked about. How do you think we can get more people interested in the research, especially the young people? It's a great question.
that's a phenomenal question, and I've got a couple of ideas on that. Going into the libraries. You can go into the county libraries. Most of the time, it does not cost you anything to rent a room or book a room in your libraries, right? Do a talk on a Saturday. Take your evidence in there. If you are in the school, to the elementary school systems and see if you can't get in and do a talk there. That's how you get these kids interested, is you've got to introduce it to them early on. If they've got parents that are open to it, that makes it easier. But I think introducing this as something that's possibly out there to the younger kids is a good way to get kids involved.
Great suggestion. That's a really, really good idea. All right, Marianne, these last couple minutes, tell everybody about your new show, where it is, where they can find it, all that good stuff.
Well, I have delved into the podcast world myself now, and it's called Bigfoot, Wildman, and Boogers Show. It's over on YouTube, and we've had to take a couple weeks off. We had some things come up, and so we are just kind of getting lined back out, and we're actually going to record with you in a few days, and you're going to be the first one up when we come back. And we're trying to just have, be logical about it, right? Get these people on, let's talk to them, find out what's going on, what they've seen, what they've heard, where they've been, things like that. Because everything that I do, whether it's BFRO or it's my personal stuff, if we teach enough of these people how to collect samples, how to forecast, how to do everything, somebody eventually has to get something that the scientific community cannot turn their nose up at. Educate, educate, educate. So that's part of, our podcast, The Bigfoot, Wildmen, and Boogers. We're on YouTube. We're going to be venturing out into other things, but that's where we're at right now. Go over there, like it, subscribe, do all the things that you do for Wayne, go do them for me. And then if you all can prove to me when we get to the LBL that you've done all this, I'm going to have little goodies for you. I need to see it on your phone that you've liked and subscribed. So I'm bribing you all for all the likes and subscribes. Okay.
Awesome. And I'm going to, I'll get this released to podcast. I don't know if I'll get it turned around for tomorrow or not, but it'll at least be Friday, and I'll share the link to everything, but your conference and your show definitely on the podcast, where I have a much bigger audience over there. So maybe we could reach a few more people that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, we've got that going on, and we've got the Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference page. You guys can always find out what we're doing over there. So just come join us, hang out. We have a good time.
Yes, we do. All right. Again, I can't wait till your conference, ma'am. It's so much fun. It is worth the almost 10-hour drive to get there and just hang out with my peeps. I can't wait. Mr. Robert, see you there, buddy. Can't wait to hang out with you again. It's going to be a good time, ma'am. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with me tonight. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
I plan on it. I'm gonna go make me some hamburgers.
All right, ma'am. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Awesome lady. One of my favorites, like I said. All right, guys, before we get up out of here, I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. Thank you for being respectful. You always are. Thank you for your comments, your questions, all of that great stuff. Before you leave, like I asked, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. If you've had an encounter and would like to come on and share it with me, I would love to talk to you about that. Shoot me an email to wayne@paranormalworldproductions.com. If you've had an encounter that you would like to have read and shared on the podcast, you are more than welcome to send that to me as well. Wayne@paranormalworldproductions.com. Also, paranormalworldproductions.com is our website. Head over there, check out all of the other shows, pick you up some merch, sign up for the Bigfoot newsletter, all of that good stuff. Manimalresearch.org is the website for the organization that I founded back in 2019. If you would like information about becoming a member, or if you believe you're having activity on your property that you need someone to come and check out, I would love for us to be the ones that you trust to do that. Also, got my Squatch Out coming up at the end of the month. Get information about that there. All that good stuff. And again, guys, if you're interested in coming to the Squatch Out, there are a few spots still available. I think there's only one camper spot left, but there are a few tent spots left. So get a hold of me or get a hold of Miss Chris Blaylock. We would love to have you come and take advantage of that. And the reminder, the $1.99 a month for becoming a member, we would love to have you do that. All right, guys, again, thank you so much for everything that you do, all of the continued support. Love you guys so very much. And I'm going to get off here and go hang out with a couple of awesome people and eat some dinner. Until we talk to y'all again, y'all take care of yourselves, take care of each other.